Howdy folks, TJ here. Have something fun to talk about today. I have a feeling, this is just a gut feeling, and I'm not a big Apple channel or anything like that, where there's hundreds of thousands or millions of people that watch it. This is just some older bloke that's loved Apple gear for a long time, thinks that the iMac is no longer going to be like the iMac that we all remember from the first one that came out back in, I guess, the 1990s, right? And that I also feel the Mac Mini, as we know it, is no longer going to be like the Mac Mini that we knew. I want to talk about that, but before I do that, I want to talk about a little bit of my Apple history and then why I think it's going to go this direction. And I also have to kind of make a remark. So in my thumbnail picture, I grabbed Apple's patent. This is a high-tech station, folks. I'm putting those images right into the editing, right into the video. iMac. iMac. What's the K for? Stand for? Keyboard. So that's what I finally came up with. Third time's a charm. Because the first few times, well, the first one I came up with was this one, iMac, where I hack out the C. But that makes it look like sense. Doesn't that look like sense? That's not going to work. iMac. And then I came up with, okay, let's smarten up here. Let's do it like this. I'll cross the C out a little differently. Then that looks like a Euro sign. iMac, Euro K. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. So, yeah, this new one, iMac, I think gets my point across that I think the iMac is going to no longer going to be an all-in-one. It's going to be a keyboard and a studio display together as a package. That's going to become the new iMac. Now hear me out. You may be saying I'm crazy, and I am a little crazy, but hear me out. The Apple Studio, Mac Studio that just came out. It's not Apple Studio, it's Mac Studio, right? I believe that is the new Mac Mini. It's in a Pro version. You got the Max and you got the Ultra and all these things, and I'm seriously considering it. But then you have these little patent that Apple's starting to see, putting the word out there. People are grabbing this patent, and I'll put a link down, I think, below where you can look at this, talking about a keyboard that's a Mac. And then you have this new studio display that's rather smart, rather intelligent. It's got an A13 chip in it and all this other stuff, and a video device to, you know, do your video streaming and all that. It's a rather smart display. So then I started thinking, okay, maybe this is a point in time where we're going to see Apple continue using the word iMac because it's just synonymous, is that the right word, for Apple. Apple will always have an iMac, but maybe not in the same flavor that we remember. An all-in-one where the keyboard that you get for it is just a dummy keyboard, and that all the guts and the knowledge and the computer is inside the screen. So this new Apple Studio has some of that knowledge, but they're going to also pack some knowledge in a keyboard, like that picture, that like the patent shows. So we'll talk about that in a second. My Apple history, well, I was an Atari kid. 1980, purchased an Atari 800, used that for 10 years. 1990, got married, purchased an Atari Mega 2 ST. Power without the price. I still liked Apple, but I couldn't afford it. And then when Apple continued on, but the Commodores and the Ataris started fading away, I had to make a move. I was of the age, business, professional, so I moved to Apple. Around 1993, 94, something like that. And I purchased my first brand new Apple. And I used to stay on top of it. I used to always not get the highest model that with all the gigabytes of memory and all that, but I got a really good one. And I didn't get a base, iMac. I purchased something that had longevity to it. And I've always been known that 5-year itch. I can enjoy a computer for 5 years, and then it's time to get something new. I tried to do that for a long time, but then in the 2000s, I had to jump ship. I think the last really high-tech one that I purchased, well, I'm a Cube. I still own my G4 Cube upstairs. That was pretty awesome at the time. And then in 2014 was the last time I purchased a brand new Apple. I purchased myself a Retina-based MacBook Pro. and then purchased the wife a 2014 Mac Mini. Still using that today. So what, we're getting close to 10 years old now. These things are crusty. They, like me, I'm getting old and crusty. We need to replace some stuff. And I'm spitting because I'm excited, because it's about time. I'm way over that five years. I need to replace it with something. 2014, I also purchased my first Windows-based. It's a main gear. You've seen it in my videos if you've been around. And I immediately removed Windows and put Linux on there. And I've been using Ubuntu for my work stuff since 2014. But for home, I've used my MacBook Pro, still 2014 model, and the Mac Mini is what my wife mostly uses. But she's been complaining lately. The Mac Mini's been booting itself all out of the order. It's like, oh, I'm gonna just decide to boot up right in the middle of something. It's getting old and crusty. My MacBook Pro still works and I still use it daily, but I sure would like something new. Now, those are not the last Apples that I purchased. That little Wii computer there, my nuclear reactor, I've owned it for about 2 years. And what's cool is I purchased a 12-core model that probably cost $20,000 back in 2014 when it came out, or 2013. But I wanted something for my YouTube channel. I'm up to almost 4,000 members now, getting close. And I do a lot of video stuff, really basic. As you can see from my editing. Oh, there goes the paper. Yeah, I'm pretty basic. I could continue using that for a long time, but my wife's been saying, this Mac Mini, it's time to replace it. So, that may go to her, because mostly what she uses is iTunes and some photos, and that's about it. And this thing's got 2 terabytes built in, where the Mac Mini had 256 512 hard drive, and I had to get an external hard drive of an SSD nature to boot up from, so it's a little hogmashy, and it's time to give her that, and time for me to get something that maybe I can start getting back into the day of buying something fairly rich and new from Apple. I'm getting that itch. Is the Apple Mac Studio the answer? Maybe, but I'm going to wait, because in this recent Apple keynote, I don't know what you call them anymore, Apple movie, Apple something, it's not a keynote anymore. It's kind of like they put a little movie and little documentary together about all their new stuff, and the Apple Studio sure looks like a fat Mac Mini, right? So in my feeling, the Mac Mini as we know it is going to be no longer. That Apple Mac Studio is going to be it. Now, what does that mean? Now, they still may come out with a Mac Mini. This is just some old dude. Well, I'm in my mid-50s, but I look older because I'm gray and stuff. My ramblings on, well, maybe the Mac Mini is now the Apple Mac Studio, and this new patent of a keyboard that's a computer, and this new Apple Studio display that's really smart with an 813 chip and camera and all that. It's really an iMac, less the iMac in it. So they're going to start making, in my opinion, this not all-in-one. It's a keyboard that's a Mac. And therefore, you think about it. I've got a nice HP Omen 34-inch display back here. I want it to last for 10 years. I don't want to replace it every 5 or 3 or 7. I want it to last a long time, like a TV. In the olden days, you would buy a TV and you'd have it forever until it died. Nowadays, it's like, well, if you have an iMac, an all-in-one, and you're tired of the old slow processor and stuff, well, it's time to move that on or sell it to somebody else. But you think about it. If you had an Apple Studio display that's rather smart and intelligent and looks wonderful, 5K or whatever, and then you only have to replace just the keyboard that's now the computer, Apple can do something for us, so we don't have to get a new display all the time, and really something for them, because you look at it, the Apple Studio display is almost the cost of an Apple iMac, right? Very close to it. So I see them on a verge of making, and again, this is just some dude. I'm not a big Apple channel. I only got 3,700 members or whatever. But I'm an Apple lover and an Apple user. I love Apple equipment. It's been a long time since I felt that flair like an Apple G4 Cube that really, oh, that thing's sexy. I gotta buy it. I haven't had that for a long time. I came dang close with the 2019 Mac Pro, but it was $6,000. That's way too much for me. Now the Apple Studio Mac, or Mac Studio, you can get the Max version for $19.99, not too bad. Or the Ultra version, and knowing me, I would probably go to that, twice the price. But it's not as sexy looking as I need it to be. I'll admit, I love the Apple aesthetics. I love stuff that looks powerful, and I like darker colored computers, like a space gray, for example. I'm not into the silvers. I like black Sinclair Spectrums. I like black nuclear reactors, like my Mac Pro from 2013. So I'm going to wait to see what this next Mac Pro is, because the rumor is that one's coming out this year with Apple Silicon. It's probably way out of my price league, but I'm going to wait to see what happens there. But maybe in that time, Apple didn't say anything about, well, we're not going to come out with something brand new, spanking new. They still may do that this year. They still may do it next year, 2023. But I have a sense that the Mac Mini as we know it is either done for or fading away. The new Mac Studio is basically going to replace it. It's about the same size, just a little taller, a little fatter. Looks a little bit cube-like, but not quite. It looks pretty nice, and I think that's basically going to replace the Mini. Now, what are they going to do in the Mini price category, the below $1,000? I think that's where this new keyboard-based iMac with a K is going to come into the picture, because you can now buy a studio display or use your own HDMI monitor that you've already own at home, because the odds are most of us have an HDMI TV or display that we can connect this little wee Apple keyboard to, and it's very portable, and we can enjoy a Mac computer all in one. Don't have to go out and buy another keyboard, all that. You just need to get a mouse, but they'll package it with a nice mouse, and you got the computer. I think that's the direction the iMac is going to go. Again, this may be way off base, but I can see a iMac with a K in our future, no matter what. Will they continue on with that inexpensive Mini? Well, you'd think that the Mini used to be $499, and then it started creeping up in price, and it's getting near $1,000 all by itself. So I don't know if we're going to see a cheap Mac Mini again. I think what they're going to do is an all-in-one keyboard computer. That's an iMac that you can connect to any old HDMI display, kind of like with these retro computers. You already own a TV, why have to buy another one? You connect it to said TV. Even this Falcon has an RF modulator built in where I can run it with any TV. So I think they're going to make the pricing lower on it, because they're going to say, hey, bring your own BYO, whatever you want to say, BYO TV, a monitor. Bring your own, because most people probably have something like that already. And if you're a Mac Mini owner already, you've already got a display that you've been connecting it to. So here's a new keyboard. Here's a mouse that matches the color or whatever they do. And now you've got the new iMac. The iMac looks like they cut the 27-inch model right off the chutes. They only have a 24-inch model. That's why I'm thinking they're going to change a little bit. I don't know. Well, sorry for the long discussion, but it's a discussion nonetheless. I don't know. It's a discussion, and I can't wait to buy my next brand new, maybe it's a Mac Studio. I don't know. I'm going to wait a little bit longer, see what the Mac Pro comes in at. Maybe it's going to be $6,000 again, and maybe I can afford just that, and I can use my existing display. I don't need to buy Apple's top-of-the-line display. This is a rather nice one. It will be fine for me. But I want something, and the Apple Studio was real close. I keep calling it Apple Studio. It's a Mac Studio, dang it. But it's really close, but it's not quite sexy enough for me. Paint it black or space gray, and I'll reconsider. Or come out in multiple colors. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. If you're new to my channel, I'm mostly about retro computers. Atari Falcon, Atari 800XL, Intellivision, old gaming consoles, Atari 2600. That's what most of my stuff is. But I sure still do love Apple, and I still do try to buy Apple. And the next new computer I purchase will be an Apple again. No longer a Linux box or whatever main gear. I'm going back to Apple, but I'm just waiting for the right time, and that time hopefully is 2022. Thanks for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.